Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm going to be doing a mashup review where I talked about my recent reads. I should just say recent reads really. August has been going somewhat okay for me. I started off the month with a boom and I read like 4 books within like 10 days, which is phenomenal for me. But after that, I just really fell off the bandwagon. I don't know. Maybe my spark just disappeared. It happens. I've gotten into a lot of slumps this year in particular. So this month that I've read so far, hopefully I'll read more by the time because there's only like a week left in August, but we'll see. So the books I will be talking about today are Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca, Birding with Benefits by Sarah T. Dubb, The Wedding People by Allison Espach, and Play Along by Liz Tomforde. There will be timestamps down below in case you want to hear about one particular book. What I do with these videos is tell you what the book was about, what I liked about it, what I disliked about it, and let you know my rating. So let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about Haunted Ever After by Jen DeLuca. If you don't know, Jen DeLuca wrote the Well Met series, which is a series I love. No. Correction. The first book I love. One of my favorite romances will always be. But books in the series, dare say, the rest of the books in the series, I dare say, just weren't it. I just don't think needed to be written. The second one was horrible. Third one, pretty decent. The fourth one, I can't even remember what it's about. So this is her new series. I believe it's a series that she came out with. I don't know. It follows 2 characters as always, and it's set in this place called Boneyard Key, which is in coastal Florida. We follow a character named Cassie who moves to Boneyard Key from Orlando, and she buys this house and she starts noticing that there's kind of wonky things about this house. She has these magnetic tiles on her refrigerator like poetry, and she'll come downstairs and it'll say my house or go by and stuff like that, and she's like, what the hell? Understandably so. I would be the same way. But where she's living at, Boneyard Key, is known for their ghost town. Like everyone talks about ghosts, kind of their tourist thing. They put ghost on everything. So she thinks it's just kind of a ruse. Like this is just kind of the town. But as she develops, as she learns more about the town and things like that, she learns maybe there is actually a ghost in my house. From there, she meets a guy named Nick who owns the coffee shop called Hollowed Grounds. Get it? So punny. I love it. There's so many like ghost pun jokes in this place. There's so many ghost pun like businesses in this book. It's very funny. But anyway, she meets him. He's kind of grumpy. She's sun-signed. Romance happens. He also has a ghost because he owns a coffee shop that the previous owner died, but he still talks to him. Like the previous owner somehow is a total ghost, but will text him. And he can also talk to him and it'll be in Nick's head. It's very bizarre. Like he'll be like, too much cinnamon in the banana bread. And I'm like, what? It's just it's weird. It's a kooky book. Did I love it? No. I would give it a 3 out of 5. It was okay. I think it's great if you want a like fun, small town, summer ghost thing. But other than that, it wasn't anything to write home about. I did find it kind of boring, I'll say. It was just, I didn't really feel the chemistry between the main characters. The ghost aspect was cool, but it was played on too much. And it was just kind of okay. This, again, could be me. I feel like with romance this year, especially in the later half of the year as it goes on, I'm just kind of not losing my love for romance, but I'm just not getting the same feeling for it. I think maybe it's just something I need to work on, or I need to like switch genres a little bit, which I'll talk more about in another book I read in this video. But I don't know. I don't know. But either way, it was okay. If you just want a fun kind of palate cleanser book, summer, ghosts, and all that kind of stuff, I would check it out. 3 out of 5. It was like middle of the road. Then we have Birding with Benefits by Sarah T. Dubb. I picked this up because one of you guys commented on it because I've talked about that I'm in my grandma era and I've been bird watching and flower gardening, and they're like, you need to read this book, and I bought it immediately. So thank you. I forget who you are, but thank you. And I did enjoy it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Again, much like Haunted Ever After, it was okay. It didn't rock my world or anything, but I would say if you're a fan of birding, read this book. So this is about a character named Celeste who is getting divorced, and she's in her 40s. She's about to become an empty nester because her daughter's going off to college, and somehow she gets roped into being partners with John, who is a like an actual birder, and there's a competition that they have in Arizona, like where it takes place all summer. You have to count down the species you see of birds and la la la. She ends up being his partner. She doesn't know anything about birding, but of course she learns more about it. A romance happens. You get it. It was cute. Again, if you're not a birder, I don't know if you would like this. Not even a birder. I wouldn't even call myself a birder. Do I like birds? Absolutely. I did, in my vlog where I talked about this book, I showed you all my many footage of birds I have. I had a cardinal that laid a nest right, like literally right here outside my window, my rose bush in April, I want to say, and I stalked the hell out of them. Like, I opened the window up, I watched the eggs, the mom would lay on the eggs. I named the birds Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers because they had 3 eggs with Tina, Jean, and Louise. And I watched them. I watched them so much that I now can pick a cardinal call out like nobody's business. Not a lot of other birds I can pick calls out, but cardinals, oh my gosh, I know their calls, I know their songs because I heard them every single day. And so that's what really got me into birding, and ever since then I just love it. I've downloaded the Merlin bird app. I have many bird feeders outside, and I have different species in my backyard in case you're interested. I have a lot of sparrows right now have taken over. Oh, I know they're invasive. Before that, grackles were like my predominant bird, but they kind of migrated. I think they'll be back next year. I also have a lot of chickadees, a lot of cardinals, which I love. Blue jays are very prominent here. I've seen some brown thrashers. I haven't seen a lot of robins lately. Again, I don't know if they like kind of move locations throughout the year, but they are pretty big here. I don't see a ton of crows. Grackles are my main one for blackbirds. There it is. Who else have I seen? I have seen a few goldfinches, which I love. I've seen some bluebirds, but those are my primary ones. I don't know. I'll just sit out there and I'll watch them and I'll be like, oh, that's that one. And I'll try to recognize the call, and it's just amazing. So I'd say if you're like that with birding, this is a great book to read because she learns more about it and how to just stop and appreciate the beauty around you and just stop and watch the birds, because I've learned that myself, to just not try to catch them or anything, but just kind of stand there and just watch and just see what they do. It's just so amazing. So this one, again, 3.5 out of 5. Didn't rock my world. If you're into birds, I check it out. If you're not, maybe it's a skip. Wedding People by Allison Espach. I gave this one a 5 out of 5, guys. I loved it. Was not expecting to love it. I heard about it. The cover intrigued me because the cover's freaking cool. It's me. Going down with some champagne or something. I don't even like champagne. I don't drink champagne. But either way, it's like, you know, she's kind of it's me. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so morbid and I'm just so, it sounds horrible. Anyway, it was totally different from the romances that I've been reading, which is why I think I loved it so much. So in this book, we have a character named Phoebe, and Phoebe has also recently got divorced. She's in her mid-40s. She was married to a guy named Matt. Everything was going good, but she couldn't conceive a child. They had many rounds of IVF and they all failed. And kind of with that, her marriage kind of fell apart, and then her husband had an affair, and so her marriage ended. And Phoebe is obviously very sad about this and very distraught. She feels like she has nothing going on for her in her life. So she goes to this beautiful hotel in Rhode Island that her and her husband always talked about going. It's like grand and illustrious and so much money, but they've always thought about doing it. And so she goes there because it's not spoiling, but I think it's a good thing to know that she goes there to end her own life, if you will. And that's very, very sad because she has nothing else going for her. But when she gets there, she learns that there is an entire wedding in this hotel. Like, she is the only guest there that is not part of this wedding. So she's like, what the crap? And so she meets the bride, Lila. Lila's like, why are you here? Like, I rent out this whole hotel for the week. It is my wedding week. Like, what are you doing here? And Phoebe's like, you know, I'm here to you know. And so Lila tries to interject, and it kind of goes on from there. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it by telling you, by saying that she does not end up doing what she set out to do, which is a great, great thing. From that, we get to see Phoebe's relationship with Lila, who's the bride, that when you first meet her, she just seems like a materialistic, all about me girl, that's all about my wedding, all that kind of stuff. But you learn more of her complexity. You also get to see many of the wedding guests, Phoebe's best friend, Phoebe's sister, sister-in-law, her groom, her mom, and you get to see kind of how complex these humans are. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, all these humans in this book are straight up flawed, but then again, aren't we all? I don't mind reading a book about horrible characters. There has to be some redeeming factors, and yes, all of them, even Phoebe herself, were kind of horrible characters, but they all had redeeming qualities, which I loved. And in the ending, I also loved. It was sad yet heartwarming, I guess you could say. It's really not a very plot-heavy book at all, but more of a character depiction and going through life, and Phoebe thinking her life is one way, but it's going to turn out to be another. Even at the end, it says, it's ultimately an incredible, nuanced, and resolute book. At the winding path we can take to places we never imagined, and the chance encounters it sometimes takes to reroute us. And that's exactly what this book is about. I do a horrible job explaining it, probably, but I loved it. I think it's because I've been reading so much romance, and it was just a good book for me at the right time. And I can't explain it more than that, and I hate to say that, but it is what it is. But 5 out of 5. I thoroughly loved it, and you can see why it's getting a lot of hype. Last book I'm talking about in this video is one I didn't even plan to read this month, but somehow did because I was just in a funk. That is Play Along by Liz Tomforty. This is the 4th book in her Windy City series, and this is a romance series that I have read all of, and they're all sports romances. The first one was hockey, the second one was basketball, and these last 2 were baseball. If you don't know, I'm a baseball fan. Go Braves, even though this year is it ain't our year, and it is what it is. Anyway, this one I was very much looking forward to because we followed the character Isaiah, who we've seen in the last 2 books. Isaiah is the brother of our main character in the 3rd book, Kai, and Isaiah, even in the 3rd book, you know, he's always had this crush on his team's doctor's like physical therapist, Kennedy. He's always really had a crush on her, but he known that she's engaged, and so he's always been playful banter. And then one day in the 3rd book, he notices that she's not wearing the engagement ring anymore, so girl is single. So he's like, oh, it is time to strike. And that is basically what the whole 4th book is. The 4th book gets them involved somehow, and somehow they get married in Vegas, and they can't elope because it would look bad, so they have to fake a marriage to make it look real. But of course, Isaiah's feelings are truly real, but Kennedy is still really grappling with herself and her past engagement, and you know, being cold. She's been told all of her life that she's cold, and she doesn't know how anything but to be that. And Isaiah's like, but you're not cold. Just because everyone says you're cold doesn't mean you're cold. It's just a beautiful relationship. I have to say, this is probably my 2nd favorite book of the series. My first favorite will always be the 2nd one, The Right Move. I love that one so very much. But this is a great romance series that I love and adore. It's just a fun sports romance. The romance is amazing. The steamy times, there's a lot of them, just so you're aware of, but I also love the side characters. It's just beautiful, and I love seeing Isaiah and Kennedy's relationship flourish. It was adorable yet steamy, and I enjoyed it. I would give it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. So yeah, I would recommend this series. I don't own them all physically. I need to. I really do. But man, if you love sports romances, in particular baseball, I would definitely check out books 3 and 4 in this series. Thoughts and feelings on 3 books. As you can tell, it was kind of, as the young kids say, mid. I'm sorry, I'm horrible. I'm about to turn 36 here next month, and I'm trying to learn all of the young slang, and I don't get it. But then again, my parents still don't get why I say dude and bro all the time, because it was just how you grew up. You get it? You get it. If you're like me and you still say dude and bro a lot, I'm there. And you do this a lot. Millennials, you get it? So you're trying to figure out what the young kids are saying. I even found a video where like it would actually, like, they would write down the slang and what it means, and I saved that jank. So I was like, I need to learn. I need to know. That's another one, jank. You know what I'm saying? You know. Anyway, but I would have to say my favorite of this whole video would have to be The Wedding People. But if you're looking for romance, I would recommend any ones I talked about today. Definitely putting a huge emphasis on Play Along. But if you love birds, check out this one. If you want some summery ghosts, I don't know, check out this one. If you want really a character deep dive and to flawed characters, I would check out The Wedding People. So a book here has something for you. That's all I'll say. If you've read any of these, let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.